Hello and welcome to Between the Pillars. Last time I covered the differences between ideas and thoughts, the intellect karma cycle, and the interaction between Netzach and Hod. In this video I will discuss the Hod vices. Intelligence is a tool. Garbage in, intelligent garbage out. Unguided intelligence always fails. Without guidance, the intellect can become a minion of distorted perception, emotions, subconscious drives, fixed ideas, and ideologies. An important part of enlightenment work is studying ageless wisdom. We begin that work by gaining intellectual knowledge and understanding of the principles of ageless wisdom and the dissolution of common sense. Intellectual solve et coagule. Intellectual knowledge of ageless wisdom is important for the beginning, but it is limiting, and one day it becomes an obstacle. One day we need to go beyond intellectual knowledge and aspire for a deeper kind of knowledge, gnosis. We gain gnosis through meditation, by becoming one with the object of meditation, by penetrating the essences of objects. The element of the intellect is air. The element of gnosis is fire. The practice of gnosis reduces objects of meditation to their essences, which we then behold in a vision. Tarot card 12, the Hanged Man, illustrates this kind of meditation, which takes us from Hod, intellectual knowledge, to Gebura, a fiery Sapphira. Intellectual knowledge can't take us beyond personality into the higher self, Tifereth, Gebura, and Chesed. Hence, we do well knowing Hod's imitations and negative expressions. Let's have a closer look at those. First up, arrogance. Intelligent people tend to feel superior. Feeling smarter than others tempt people to develop arrogance towards less intelligent people. Spiritual awakening and the knowledge of ageless wisdom boosts the temptation of developing a superiority complex too. Arrogance then can develop further into intellectual barbarism, like intellectual bullying, which is rampant on social media these days. Intellectual arrogance is an obstacle for enlightenment, in particular if it remains unconscious. Everybody on the path of enlightenment will have to meet the test of spiritual arrogance and sense of superiority before getting anywhere near Tifereth. Humility is the nilai through which our soul needs to go through to experience illumination. In fact, the ego has to utterly dissolve first before the soul can be illuminated. Reason versus rationalization. Once the intellect becomes a slave to fixed ideas, it abandons reason and resorts to rationalization. Reason, Tarot card 4, is an unbiased process that arrives at initiation. Tarot card 5, we had that in a previous video. Rationalization justifies cherished beliefs despite reality contradicting them. Take the flat earth theory as an example. The flat earth theory is the rationalization of a common sense interpretation of biblical passages despite the presence of scientific proofs of the contrary. We are also prone to rationalizing our giving-ins to cravings and additions. Example, smoking helps to lose weight. And we like to excuse our failures by telling ourselves that others made us do things that led to our blunders. We may even rationalize shady business with the argument that if we don't do it, somebody else will. The sense of separation. As mentioned, the basic activity of intelligence is differentiation. Unguided intelligent perception produces the sense of separation. The sense of separation is the mood or sense that we are separate beings, separate from others, separate from security, guidance, separate from all the things we want, and from the higher self. Remember that Hod means splendor? Splendor is the opposite of the sense of separation. We behold all the separate things and beings while we are conscious of the unity of life. That is splendor. The sense of separation is the root cause of many psychological and social issues. The sense of separation causes anxiety, aggression, and OCD. Socially, it makes itself felt as competitive compulsory disorder, the uncontrolled urge to compete and win and justify means with ends. The sense of separation is represented by the 26th path, illustrated by Tarot card 15, the Devil. The 26th path connects Hod with Tifereth, the higher self. The Devil is a figure made of a goat, bat, eagle, and a human that has both male and female breasts. This illustrates intellectual confusion, being lost in details and unable to see the wood for trees. It also represents the illusion of adversity, the devil, and the fear the sense of separation summons. Polarization is the political application of the sense of separation. The means of polarization are scare tactics and blame tactics. The 15th tarot card illustrates the social mood of societies polarized by politics. On its own, intelligence cannot overcome the sense of separation. Only enlightenment can. Enlightenment aims at the realization of unity, in particular our unity with the higher self. Mind the word realization. We don't have to attain unity. Unity is already reality. We just need to realize it. We achieve that by dissolving the elusive sense of separation. Whoever penetrates the sense of separation and the illusion of adversity will connect with Tifereth and enjoy the guidance of the higher self, which will renew our intellectual comprehension of life. Renewing intelligence is one of the titles of the 15th tarot card. The higher applications of the intellect are recognizing patterns and connecting dots. Without the ability to perceive patterns, we can't do science. Connecting dots leads to innovations. However, an unguided intellect may perceive elusive patterns and connect dots of different contexts. If we don't verify the patterns our intellect perceives, we may get entangled in a web of illusion of our own making. The movie A Beautiful Mind illustrates what happens to a highly intelligent person whose intellect lacks guidance. Some conspiracy theories do not verify their theories scientifically. They are too much in love with the patterns they discovered. Conspiracy patterns have a hypnotic effect. Because of this hypnotic effect, much of conspiracy theory research turns out rationalization. More about this hypnotic effect in the next video. Another intelligence trap is connecting dots that belong to different contexts. Look at this picture. Your mind can't help but try to connect the dots. But there are no connections. These are just dots. Sometimes the intellect sees connections that are not there. We know this also as taking things out of context. Here's a famous example. Money is the root of all evil. The original sentence is, love of money is the root of all evil. Money is a tool, we can do good and bad things with it. Love of money is greed. Greed is always bad. Anybody can take two quotes from different contexts, combine them and produce a new context around them. That's how some conspiracy theories happened. One day, Hitler connected Jews and communism. He arrived at the conceptual idea that Jews instigated the communist revolution in Russia. He concluded that the Jews wanted to create a new world order, et voila, the first conspiracy theory was born. Negative thinking. Our body responds to adversity with aggression and fear. That's natural and involuntary. Memories of adverse experiences stick around longer than memories of pleasant experiences. That's natural. Adverse situations are dangerous, and subconsciousness, the high priestess, keeps reminding us of them. Every adverse experience is a tiny trauma or a big trauma. Every time we remember adverse experiences, our body reacts with aggression and fear, to which our intellect responds with negative thinking. Unchecked, this vicious circle produces a negative worldview. Many news channels commercialize this psychological trait. The main product of news channels is anxiety. A significant number of social media posts make use of this psychological trait too. Like subconsciousness reminds people of traumas, social media algorithms keep feeding people with content that pushes their anxiety buttons. On its own, the intellect cannot overcome negative thinking. The intellect needs a guidance system. Unresolved traumas and bad news got the intellect into negative thinking. Something else needs to guide the intellect towards positive thinking. Returning to positive thinking requires conscious effort and planning. The intellect can help with planning, but it needs guidance, as mentioned. Ageless wisdom and tarot cards can offer that guidance. Tarot cards only picture positive states of mind. Even the 15th tarot card offers a positive view. If you have a closer look, you will find that the devil in this card is a ridiculous, elusive figure. The message: take adversity with humor. Let's have a look at how the principles of ageless wisdom dissolve negative thinking. Another word for negative thinking is pessimism, the expectancy that things will turn out bad. The extreme of pessimism is doomsdayism, which is quite in fashion these days. Optimism implies expecting that things will turn out good. Optimism is better than pessimism, but optimism can cause disappointments, which can be pretty painful. Ageless wisdom frees us from both pessimism and optimism. Ageless wisdom promotes positivism. Positivism means that things have been good, are good, and will be good. Positivism puts an end to the illusion of adversity, Tarot card 15. This lifts our worldview out of personality and up to Tifereth, the higher self. From the perspective of Tifereth, there's only one life, the life of mankind. And the little personal lives of all souls are inseparable parts of the mankind's grand life. People's lives complement each other. Competition is an illusion. Further, we can't fail. Both success and enlightenment are inevitable. What we perceive as failures are just delays. Negative thinking and, incidentally, also optimism delay enlightenment and success. We can always avail of the higher self's guidance and protection. We just need to be quiet and listen. Even if we don't listen, the higher self will eventually get through to us. We are guided moment by moment along the path of liberation, whether we know it or not. Last but not least, adversity is limited to incarnation. When our bodies die, we return to the soul world and to love and unity. Incarnation is just a game. We are immortal souls. Nothing can happen to us. Even if we blew up this planet, we could continue on another planet. It is our duty to think positively in the face of adversity. Thinking positively accelerates personal success, helps others to succeed, supports the grand success of Homo sapiens, and services the evolution of cosmic mankind. In fact, seeking the greater good in adversity is the fastest way to enlightenment. Thank you for watching Between the Pillars. Please help to spread the light with a like and a share. And don't forget to subscribe. love and light.